I,
I won last night at Las Vegas, but technically they have me in second, even though we have probably the same picks and the same points.
it says
Oh,
two.
Will you blow it out, you
because they don't.
guys?
It's because they don't. They don't like your name. So you finished in second.
We're just here to pack the track, Mason.
Speeding up, no slowing down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 3 of season 4, middle of March. Weather's pretty good considering we just weathered a storm, quote unquote storm, and we should have the full cast for another fun episode. Myself, Mason, along with Mr. Jessup Pelkey in the top right and John Brecko down in the middle center. How are you two doing, Jessup? What's the caution for already?
Well, because Becca just said, "Wait for me."
Yeah, there's that. So you get a caution for that, Mason. And who are you defining as we? Because I don't believe we got much of a storm, if any storm, over here on the Bismarck side, besides some light gusting of wind. Right, John?
Yeah, that's about all we got, Mason. It's more you.
Oh, okay. Two things. Two things. One, I just got that notification through on my phone right now because I closed it on my computer. Two, we did not
Do
get much of a
better.
storm. That's why I said storm, quote unquote. We had like gale force winds, but that's about it.
I'm pretty sure the lineup now goes Jessup, John, Becca, Mason.
Yeah,
Well, actually, I'm not sure. Mason, we got to make a vote here, John.
I
We got to
agree.
take a vote here because Mason took his caution before Becca got on.
Yep.
So it might be me, you, Mason, Becca.
I'm wondering why Becca was
Yeah.
like trying to cover.
Okay.
So where
Wow.
do we stand on this?
Well, we could put up a poll on this on Facebook.
Or is it a double caution, which then the rear double caution before the green flag, which then
Technically,
actually Mason's over here.
in most cases, they blame it on the track conditions when it's like a caution or a pileup in turn one.
Hmm, I don't know.
It's like, oh, we'll blame it on the track. It wasn't ready to go. Let's work it in a little bit longer and then go green.
So seeing that you're an official, that means you're going to the back.
I don't quite follow you there.
You're the caution's on you, so Mason
I
goes to the
don't.
back. I'm sorry.
I feel
See,
like
guys,
this is. I feel like this is more
this
of the track wasn't ready to go.
John,
this is kind of fun though. You know why? Because I'm actually picking out my pictures still, and this gives me more time.
Making good use out of the extra pace laps. Well, we actually
this
do.
is where this Mason, this is where John's still trying to get himself together in the uh what do you call it, the hot pits, and I'm sitting down in front of the flag stand bitching at the track
Yes,
official.
you are.
Which I've seen this at multiple locations.
Yes. Yes, we
Basically,
have.
I'm stalling for John and
Well,
Becca.
You're
I
doing a good job, Jessup.
And
well, and I
Becca's
guess apparently we're
she's
stalling for
not
Becca too.
apparently she's not firing yet, so she has not fired off, and she will not be taking her hot laps or
We
her
need a
qualifying laps or her
we,
heat feature
we
or
need a
heat.
tow truck to go give the vehicle of Becca Pelkey a push start.
Ah,
Ooh, this is a good one too. Okay, I've got four. We've got four of them for for the memory rewind.
Okay, well, as we set our
Picking
pace
more.
laps, how are we all doing now that the full cast is here? Jessup, how have you been doing so far this month?
It's been interesting. Pretty good. It could be March again, or not March, but February again.
Are you over all the sickness that's been going through your house? I know
No,
you've been kind of dealing with
no,
that.
everyone gets sick, and then I end up having to take the blunt wrath of it all. And then deal
The
with all the
blame.
little pukesters out there, the K through 12ers, and they all get me sick. And then once I get my one day of health, then Becca gets sick, and then I get sick, and then Riley gets sick, and then I get sick again because of Riley. And Becca sits there like, "Why are you sick? You already got sick. You cannot do this anymore."
Now, Mason, remember what we talked about? He needs to jumpstart his immune system. He could have done that if he would have flown on that direct flight from Bismarck to Vegas this week and got attendance points to get first in fantasy last night at the high limits race.
I peak at first.
Wrong. You are marked as second.
It is a tie.
See? Second. Still
Yeah, but the
second.
points are the same. That means we tied.
That doesn't
We
make
have the
sense.
same picks.
You actually have a number, and it's 2.
I'm sorry.
Yep. It's all
You're
numbered as
you're
2.
at the tail. Go to. You know what? I'm making an executive decision. Where's my plane? I'm going after.
Becca, he lost his stuff. He doesn't even have the ability to
Boy,
put the
he's so
finish.
disorganized.
Arr!
He's so disorganized. No, if you're gonna do a black flag, you gotta
Oh,
do it
there
like
it is.
this.
Oh, now he
That's how you
lost
do a
his
black
camera.
flag.
Oh, I despise you. I despise you so much. You have too much power. Get me back on here.
He is the race director. He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, this is great.
You
John,
be
how
like,
are you doing?
I'm
I-
doing great. This is such
no.
nice entertainment.
Hold on one
This is
second.
good stuff.
This is very good stuff. No, I'm doing really nice. So I'm trying to be a nicer person these days.
You are getting a cup.
you froze it. You froze it. Look at that.
And now it's a really good picture. I need to take a screenshot of
Let's
this.
say you need to take a screenshot of this. Oh
That's
gosh.
that's a great photo.
How do I get my camera back?
I don't know, but this is a
There we
great
go.
picture.
Hold on, leave that. Ha ha! I'm on 2.
Yeah, so
This means
Okay.
Becca's getting lapped.
Poor
Okay.
Becca.
hey, let me do it this way. Okay. Now
Okay, Becca,
now
now
see
you
if we
can
can
try it again. There she is.
Well, we've had 3 people black flagged, and we haven't really even started the race.
No, it's been an awesome start to the race.
There's only
I mean,
one
we're
person
all
black
still underneath
flag.
pace laps. You know why? We have so many black flags because none of us really know rules and procedures yet because we haven't started the season.
Fair
I think
point.
Jessica stay in his lane.
People would know track official procedures and protocols if they just go to that official seminar at the end
Next
of March
weekend. Mhm.
with John Gartner Sr.
That is a good point. Yeah, we should definitely bring that up again at the end of the episode too. That way.
Which
It's a good-
we will be sending Mason there because he doesn't know how to officiate.
Well, except I should throw a caution on Jessup because he technically crashed Becca's screen when he went out of line.
I can't. But here's the difference,
He
Mason.
did. It just froze.
But here's the thing. I kept going. Becca stopped, and this is like Super Nationals. If you
Oh, it's the no
Up to the
fault
stop.
cautions.
that is on you.
We are definitely not implementing no fault cautions on this
You
podcast.
can't change the rules as the podcast has already started.
They weren't no fault
Listen,
to begin with.
I heard that that you're going to implement that for the tours this year.
No, absolutely not.
I don't understand. Why are you mad about that? That's like a good thing.
Anyways, Becca, how are you doing?
Ugh, I'm tired. I
You
just
took a nap.
doesn't mean I'm not tired.
You got to have fun the last 2 days and a nap today.
I've also been sick the last couple days. Yes, I went out and I had fun. I competed at state darts, took fifth place, got $70. Um,
For states, you get $70. $70.
my a bunch of so we probably have like 12 or so friends who all play, and one of the married couples they pay for all the state dart fees, so turned around and gave my $70 back to those guys because that's how much I owed them. So no, I had a lot of fun at state darts. Someone came up to me, and there was a lot of racing folks there. So it was fun to see them, catch up with them, and see old friends again. But someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh, where'd you get your hat?" And I'm like, "Oh, this was a gift." And I couldn't remember where Jessup got this hat, but I was like,
I
"Oh,
know. Mason was there. We almost died that night.
We almost did.
And
They
look,
did.
the best part is I called it and then we laughed as it was happening.
well." This guy comes up to me. He's like, "Where'd you get this hat?" I'm like, "Oh, this was a gift," and I'm not sure where they got it. And he goes, "Oh, well, do you like Macado?" And I like take my hat off, and I'm like, "No, this is Carson Macedo." And he goes, "Well, are you sure?" And my friend from the background goes, "Yeah, she's the announcer at the racetrack." I'm like, and I'm like, "Yeah,
McIndoe. I'm gonna start calling him that.
this is
McIndoe.
Carson Macedo. He's a sprint car guy." And the guy's like, "Oh, I thought that was for the BMX guy." And I'm like, "No."
McIndoe. I'm gonna start calling Carson Macedo that.
I was like, "I've been drinking, but no, this is Carson Macedo." So I thought that was really funny. But so I had a good weekend, but yeah, I'm a little tired. Um, but just
In
get
short, she's
just getting ready for my racetrack, my swing, like have a few drinks at the racetrack again, maybe stay out till 4 in the morning.
Yeah, you could go back to having a little more fun on the race nights after the races are done. Races are done and you can have fun. Because last year that was a little bit dampened due to other things. But those are
this is
good
true.
things.
Still, I was
Yes.
still a hoot after the races, but
Well, I was gonna say something that probably would have warranted a red. Didn't we have some water issues with Becca after the races too?
In the middle of the heats one night.
sit and water
All of a
came
sudden she sat down and there went water.
And
she's
that
like,
was the night that John hooked up all the mics, and he hooked them up wrong, so you
yes.
couldn't turn me off. I couldn't mute myself. And so on a live mic, I'm like, "Oh my God, there's water everywhere." And I was afraid people were gonna think I went into labor. So I had
And
to
there was so many,
clarify over the mic, "No, I'm not in labor." But some people still weren't listening and they still thought I was in labor. So
yep,
that was interesting.
she was leaking.
Meanwhile, I'm
All
sitting there
because
going,
someone did not close the windows after their event last year, and it rained like 3 or 4 days
Monsoon.
from that weekend up until the next Friday.
Speaking of weather, I survived whatever storm, quote unquote, that we were supposed to get. It was basically just gale force winds and a little bit of freezing rain. But the
I'm
two
glad
to
you
eight
know
inches of snow that was expected, we did not get out. So,
I wonder who this Gale is. And why is she forcing the wind?
well, she was sure loud and boisterous all day yesterday. So.
Ah,
But thankfully, it's pretty dry out here. That's the concern right now. It's pretty dry over on this side of the state, so we could actually use some moisture here in the next few weeks, especially as the season gets closer, because otherwise, windy days might be a little bit tough, especially if we get some sparks and stuff going. So I don't want it to be too dry before the season starts, but hopefully racing season's going to come sooner rather than later. And so I want to thank you all for joining us on this adventure for season 4 of the Track Packers and give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness. And thank Mr. Tyler Hall for supporting us over the last few years. If you haven't heard of Hitch Harness, it's a very innovative product specifically designed for truck owners for safe and efficient storage in the back of their truck. Head over to hitchharness.com. Their signature product is the single or double style hitch harness, and there's a whole bunch of other products on their site as well. If you have any questions, be sure to contact Tyler, reach out to him via phone or Facebook, and he will get you pointed in the right direction. So Thank you, Tyler, for supporting us on the podcast. We look forward to seeing you during the 2025 season. This is sort of debatable, but the lineup as it stands right now is myself, followed
No,
by
no,
Jessup,
No,
John, and
no,
Becca.
no,
he
no,
already messed up. Not
no.
once, but twice there on the podcast.
Mason, I think you need to.
Jessup and John are on the front. Mason and Becker, you're battling it out in the back row as the officials have yet to make a decision on who is actually in last place.
Mason, I think we need to end each episode with how the running order is so that we don't have this fiasco every time we start a
You
podcast.
weren't here for the fiasco, so you get a caution too.
Well, you entered during the fiasco because the track wasn't in proper race condition. So we're basically doing a full restart.
I'm pretty sure the head flag person, Mason, started the podcast a little too soon after saying he was going to wait.
But then, oh, no, I didn't say I was
Don't-
going to wait. Becca said wait. I didn't get the notification.
Well, that's another
That's
you
on
problem.
you.
You should be checking
That's
your
a you problem.
notifications.
Yeah,
Well, the officials don't go to
you're
the
in
back,
charge of
though.
this.
I'm
This
a
is start-
racer.
This is
I'm
starting
a
to be like
budget
NASCAR.
racer, working
John.
hard to get to where I'm at.
Rules for thee, not for me.
Well, yeah. Let's actually throw another caution on this really quick. Mason's like, me as an official, I don't go to the back, but I'm a racer, a low budget racer. Well, then what are you, an official or a low budget
Yeah.
racer?
Yeah.
I am a Swiss Army knife of racing. That's the way I look at myself.
Oh, you're a weapon. Weapons are not allowed in the pits, Mason.
Before this gets off the rails, let's throw that green flag and officially start episode 3 with who or what are you repping. I will let you start this out, Jessup.
Uh, my green flag is flying for St. Patty's Day because that's our theme, I guess. Well, today I had to get a green shirt, and after dumping all of my shirts, I could only find a few with green stuff on it. So I got my old Wasoda 100 with the green here. See the green? And then there's green in the back. You see? You see, John? John, what year is this?
I want to say, I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Neither
I
do
want to say
so
maybe,
we're gonna make
is
the
that
decision.
2013? Is
Mason,
that the
your turn.
13 one?
Aha.
14.
14, okay. Because there were several
20.
years there that I didn't go to the 100 because of. Okay, yeah, 2014, because there were several years there that I didn't attend the 100 just because of distance. So for us, it was a little bit longer to get to.
There you go. And now he's almost
He's
armless.
dancing in his
there you
shirt.
go. Cool green shirt, Jessup.
Thank you.
John, who or what are you repping?
Okay, so I had to go grab green because I didn't really have green on, so I wanted to go get green. So I went and did the 2024 kind of one of the versions of the Star Car Stampede shirts that they did last year in Jamestown. So because I think they had the normal 2 designs for names on the back, and then they had 3 of kind of these designs to go through. I think it was maroon, gray, and then the green and teal, which I really like the color on this one. And also there's buffaloes.
Buffalo.
So that's what I'm repping.
The
For
cute
St.
little
Patty's Day.
buffaloes. Excellent. Miss Becca, who or what are you repping?
Well, I did not
McAdoo.
keep up the theme, and I
She's
had another
representing.
picked out, and then here comes Jessup telling me I have to wear green. So I've already wore this shirt on the podcast, but whatever. I like this shirt, so I got myself
It's
a
McAdoo.
That's a
yes,
hat.
wearing a Jimmy Owens late model T-shirt that I picked up at Volusia a couple years back. I just like the overall look at it. That's just good color
I like
scheme.
the teal. I like the teal
Yeah.
color on it too.
Mhm.
And then I'm wearing my Carson McAdoo number 41 sprint car beanie. It's still beanie season, so
It is.
It is still beanie season. Yes, it's a little brisk out right now.
but I did freshly get my hair done. So
It looks great.
I'm a cute blonde again.
I'm a cute platinum again.
I know.
I need a
I
haircut.
I also did just get my haircut too.
Oh,
It is.
Just
It's
in
very short.
Super
it's
fresh, Nathan.
well, John, he said he got his hair singular, as in a singular hair was cut.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Hmm
He wears hats all the time, so his hair is just choking.
hmm
it was a very expensive haircut too.
I mean, I
Well,
can
usually
give
my
you a
mom
buzz
cuts my
cut.
hair,
Why was
but
it expensive?
what's that, Becca?
Why was it expensive?
Well, because I'm so used to my mom cutting my hair, and so I usually get it done for free. But when I actually have to go to a barbershop and get it done, it's like, oh, dang.
Oh,
This
What
is a
was it, like
bummer.
bucks?
It
Men's
was
hair
just under 50 bucks.
expensive.
really? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Mine's usually like 25.
Yeah. So I may need to look at different places to get my hair cut. Although I do like the guy that cuts my hair. We have great conversations.
That's good.
Anyways, for my gear, I'm representing the Camp Bros, who are in Legends now. The 99 and 15, they were formerly in slingshots out of the Wofford City area, and so it'll be fun to see them get another year under their belt in the Legends this year. And for the shirt, representing Matt Scow, this is one of his shirts from last year. He had about dozen to 2 dozen different color options, and so I went with a green option just because this one's a little bit different shade of green than what I have in my current wardrobe. So representing the 2S out of McIntosh, Minnesota, who is a very accomplished Midwest modified racer and has dabbled in the Minnesota modifieds over the last few years as well. And so that is who or what we are preparing for episode number 3. And with that, we will move on to the hot sauce, hot memory rewind, and give a shout out to Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol in the 12S, world-renowned high school coach of the Velvet Aggies, who I think they're going to be embarking on Class B. I haven't been able to stay on top of it, but is Class B's tournament this upcoming weekend?
That Class B was done.
No.
No, because
Well, not
class
Is it
A
A?
just happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, Double
they
A
just did
just
that.
happened.
Double A just happened. Yep.
boys
And
There's
class
too
Class
many
B
classes.
weekend.
Stop messing with my Class B.
and the Class B girls already happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but the boys are coming up.
Yes.
Well, there. I hear from Becca all the time that Class B is where it's at, and there's not one stadium or arena that can hold all the excitement or the electricity from the Class B state championship.
Mm,
It's a big deal. Like the whole town goes to support the team. Like
It
that's
is
true.
big.
Old Town goes.
As a thief, that would be the time to go to that town because no one would be there and you'd get free picking.
Alrighty, yeah. I guess that there's some truth to that, I guess. Anyways, shout out to you, Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro. Thank you for supporting us for the last couple of years. He drives a 12S IMCA Modify, and I believe he might be dabbling some other stuff this year. Who knows? He's kind of got all sorts of surprises in his pit area and his racing. And so head over to 12S Racing to follow him on Facebook and check out the hot sauce that he has in the pits as well. Becca, we need to get you down there to try some of its hot sauce. I've heard it's really good, and you are a great hot sauce taste tester for that because I am not a fan of hot sauce. I am a wimp when it comes to that stuff. So thank you so much, Isaac, for supporting us on the Track Packers for another season. Jessup, what do you have for photos to kick us off?
I have photos. That is what I'm kicking it off with, Lisa. 3 of them.
3. All right.
All of cars that have previously raced. I just got to double check the. Okay, good. We're ready. All right. So I have a theme this year or this week, whichever, this year's week, whatever. And it's going to be for St. Patrick's Day. So I tried to find green cars. And in this current year that I had photos for, there weren't too many. So we had green logos, green numbers, green in the decals. So, John, you know the rules. I only am aiming this towards you because you're our local expert. And then there's Mason. And then, hi, Becca. I love you. Anyways, are you ready, you guys?
Yes.
All right. Number 1. Picture number 1.
The J3?
The 3JB.
Oh, 3JB.
3JB.
I can kind of see a B out of that. That's a
Hold on, I'll hold
It's
it
kind of
up.
interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. It's sharp. Yellow with a nice green and
I don't have a guess here.
John, have you found your cheater site yet?
No, I'm not even looking.
Have you checked it this week?
Yes, I check it daily.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, John.
Silly questions
Becca?
for 200, Alex.
Okay, so
Becca,
I'm going to
any
just
guess?
take a guess here because I don't know this one at all.
Okay.
So, uh, let's do 3B, 3JB. I think about that one.
Yep.
Um, uh, Jeff Brookings? I don't know.
Nope. Mason, any guesses?
I have no guesses.
The name on the photo is Joe Bean.
Where's he from? What?
Here you go, Becca. Tell me where he's from. Where is he from?
Well, I'm just gonna do
I
this.
don't know. We're gonna have to go look that one up. But the 3JB is
Oh, yeah.
Joe Bean. Going on to the next one. Cha. He is in a white car. The number is 7.
Harry Hansen.
No,
Is his
Oh.
name on the back of the car?
no,
Is that Ricky Weiss?
no. First name, it's CC would be the initials. I think he's first name Chad.
Corbett?
No. Cumming. Chad Cumming.
That
I don't know that name either.
Isn't he a South Dakota guy? Or is he a Western guy?
I never heard that name.
I honestly don't know.
All right. We're 0 for 2. 30.
That one is
Isn't Kelly
the
Hamilton?
Hample.
Yes.
Yep, Kelly
Becca with
Hample.
the win.
Yep.
Now, final question. What year were these photos from?
2002.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going to say
close, John.
2000. Just
2001.
John's closest, 2003.
I
Oh,
found
okay.
Joe. He's from Minnesota.
Who, Joe Bean?
Yeah, runs the Hibbing Speed Raceway.
Did he also run like a zero modified back in the day? I feel like there was also the zero mod. Oh, it used to be white. It
This
was
is a
white,
Hibbing
black,
guy.
and green. I have a feeling he might be in that fold for some reason.
I do not remember this guy for being a Hibbing guy.
Well,
Some reason I want to say, Mason, that he owned a car that might have won the 100 in Cedar Lake one year for the mods. I'd have to go look it up, but for some reason I have a feeling that I might be onto something there.
Those first two I had never recognized.
Okay, Mason.
All right,
Now, what about yours?
I got a quick couple. I'm giving you the
Oh,
hint.
that's
is it
one of the
Will or
Bracks.
Matt Brack?
Which Brack?
Is it Will or Matt Brack?
Yeah, which Brack is it?
I think it's
Check.
Matt.
Matt.
It
I'm gonna
is
go with-
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt Brack. Yes.
It is Matt.
The only reason
Yeah.
I could tell that, Mason, is because I could see the M on the signature below it.
Oh,
Ah,
well,
nice.
yeah. Here's Will Brack's car from that same year.
Okay.
All right, and then I got one more.
I used to know this one too. That's the sad part.
Is this a local guy?
It is yes.
It's not a Mac. I don't know.
Come on, Jessup.
When was the last time this person raced?
That is a great question. I am not sure.
Would I have seen him race or her race?
Probably not. I think this card is from 2004 or 2005.
That's going to be outside of my knowledge range.
Yeah, this is before my time.
John, do you have a
John,
guess?
it's up to you.
Mason, go ahead.
It is John Bridgeford.
Oh, of course.
See, this is funny because here's Casey Mack.
Oh, so I was
Yep.
close.
You were close. I was thinking you were going to say Casey Mack. That's why I did that one first.
Huh.
Thank
Very subtle differences in the sponsors on the wings, and yeah. So those are the couple I got.
Down to John.
Okay, I'm opening them up.
Let
Get
me
'em
make
here.
sure you can share. I have to allow
I've
you to
got
share.
3 of them.
Okay, you should be able to share.
They've been the Western Wanderer. What year?
Some of them are from the Western Wanderer. Some of them are from my local stash.
That is a race car.
Stash.
Be quiet over there, Jessica.
Oh, they're pitting already.
What lap are they on?
The 37.
32.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, my thing is buffering.
That's James Larson. Oh, Lawson.
That's-
Sorry, James Lawson.
James
Larson.
Lawson.
I'm going James Lawson, John.
I'm glad you got that one right, Becca. James Larson. I'm going to tell him that on Tuesday.
Stop. Do
The
not.
distant relative of Kyle Larson.
No.
So-
No.
No, but don't you like it? I was surprised I found James's hobby stock.
Always had really nice cars.
He does. Yep, and plus he's got the green on there for St. Patty's Day. Okay, second one.
That is also a race car.
Has it switched over?
No,
I will see the next one.
we're waiting for
Oh,
John.
it didn't switch?
Yeah, it
Oh.
didn't switch.
Okay, sorry. Let me stop sharing here. I'll share again.
Why are we not sharing yet? Sharing is caring.
There you go.
I don't want
Oh, I think I know
to.
this
Can you
one.
enlarge it a little bit, John?
Sure.
Zoom in a little. Enhance. Enhance.
Yeah, I definitely know who this is.
I was
Who
gonna say,
is it,
Mason, you should
Mason?
know it because the name's in the
It's
number.
It's Chad Onstead.
Yes, and what year, Mason?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mason.
shoot,
What
I
year?
don't know that. 2005.
You're close.
2004.
2006.
Ah, I
dang.
went the wrong way.
That's a cool looking car.
Who is this?
It's a number 1.
Almost
Can you
body
zoom
and
back in,
paint.
please?
I'll zoom in for you too, Jessica.
So it's
James Stone.
for blurry.
There we go.
A little more enhance.
See,
That's
at
as far as it
first I
goes.
was gonna say Terry Blacklands, but with the 1.05, but it has Ost body and paint, so that I don't think he's
Roadrunner 1.05.
Matthew Kropp was a 4.5. Was he ever
Who?
1.05?
I don't know. What's your guys' guesses? The street stock.
Well, thank you for pointing that out.
John is helpful.
I'm gonna guess Matthew Kropp because I don't know exactly who would have been that.
Ost. What? I can't think of Ost's first name.
Steve?
Yeah,
You're gonna go with Steve Ost?
sure.
Mm-mm. Becca, do you have a guess?
I don't know. This is before my time.
This is Sean Erdl.
Really?
Oh,
I would not have known this.
I would not guess.
I would not have guessed that
Yeah,
either.
he changed his number for the 2000 and this is the 2003 season, I believe.
Wow, that's a cool little
Good
throwback.
find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does something with I don't remember why it was 105 either because it used to be 57.
So I don't know if I remember watching Sean Erdahl race, so I wouldn't have even known his normal number.
John, when did Sean start announcing?
That is a
It would have
car.
been like 2000 and
You
I
gotta
want to
zoom
say
in
Becca
here.
like 2006-ish time frame, 5, 6, somewhere in that range.
Did he race for quite a while before he stepped
Yeah.
out?
He was a street stock driver for years before that, plus a bomber driver, I think. Okay, who's this?
Randy Meyer?
Right.
Yes, you guys are right.
I don't remember that scheme. That's the only 91 I can remember from
Yep,
Man,
that
dude.
was his scheme. I know that's why I was like, this one, if somebody knows who used to drive the 91 street stock out of Bismarck, they would know this.
Yeah.
But I don't remember Randy in this scheme either, but this is Randy.
Because he was always in like an orange scheme, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes. Usually he's orange. Usually he was orange, and one year he was like dark blue to black. It was like it's a completely different paint scheme style for him.
He always had the light up bar on the back of his car on
Yes.
when you go into corner one, you could always see the lights.
Yep. Yep. But Randy Meyer is who this is.
Got any more?
Nice.
Oh,
No, that's it. I had four. I had four today for you guys, and most of them were incorporating green somehow.
well, those are some pretty good photos and kind of a good challenging set, but I like it, John. Good job on that. And that is the hot sauce, hot memory rewind as my computer went on the fritz there for just a second. So, before we get into a couple of the latest schedule releases, any big things that people have been kind of observing over the last couple of weeks as far as racing wise goes?
Basically, NASCAR, so we'll leave that for another day.
We've been obviously, watching NASCAR with some of that stuff, which has been kind of interesting. But dirt track related, maybe one thing that I kind of noticed here, and maybe it's a good thing so far for the year, is this past weekend, obviously we had some, bad storms that went through the south. So thoughts and prayers to everybody that was affected by those, because there was some pretty big and nasty weather that went through kind of the southeast part of the country. However, speaking of racing related, the high limit started this past weekend. The World of Outlaws in full swing. For series stuff, Lucas Oil's obviously in full swing. So, and guys, maybe it's because it's really early in the year, but I've been kind of impressed with car counts so far.
Yeah, in particular, last night, we're recording this on a Sunday, had both the World of Outlaws and High Limits taking place. I believe they were both in the upper 30s for each of their shows.
Yeah, I think
39
High
and
Limits.
37.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're in the upper 30s with both, and the night before that they were the same way with the Thursday show for the high limits that got postponed then to Friday that ended up getting canceled because of the weather in Vegas. But yeah, it's been kind of a I don't know, for me maybe a little bit of a welcome surprise that our counts are up across the board with some of those national series.
Yep.
Yeah, because the World of
Yeah.
All late models, I think at Smoky Mountain, did they have 45? I think they had. I think it was 45.
I know a lot of the late model races got canceled this weekend.
Yeah, let's speak of that really quick. So I had to laugh here for a second so they had 45 late models on Friday night in Tennessee because that's where they were at. They were in Tennessee. And then they ran the show, got it done. They actually ran it pretty quick, I want to say, on Friday. Got the show done, and then immediately canceled Saturday's program like right after they were done. I basically said, hey, get home and get safe, right? And the amount of keyboard warriors on Facebook that were going off about them canceling early, I was like, this is hilarious. I was like, okay, guys, you just sit at home in the comfort of your home from, away from storms and have these drivers have their $100,000 rigs or multi-million dollars in sponsorship stuff and everything else sitting out in the open while you have maybe a tornado or hail hit it. That's really smart.
Yeah, you can't really hide a toter anywhere.
I know. No. So
Oh yeah, let's go park it out in a giant oncoming storm that's like a 95% chance of having some sort of damaging conditions to it.
yeah,
You guys
either
of the semi truck?
flooding, hail, or anything.
Well, did you guys see the video of the semi truck? This is in Montana, mind
Oh,
you.
the two that
Mhm.
got pushed over side by side, basically.
So like if
Yes.
it's not the lightning and the hail, it's going to be the wind that can potentially,
Yep.
topple these things over. So yeah, it was the best interest just to cancel and let everyone get home safely.
Yeah, especially when you're in a pretty high risk zone for, severe stuff and everything else, and especially when they're talking about, hey, there could be big, long tracked tornadoes and other weather risks during the day. It's probably a good idea to get everybody out of there from even a liability side.
Yep.
When
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
was even
I
noticing
laughed about that.
during I think it was the Thursday night portion. I can't remember which night it was for high limits during qualifying. Like it was super windy that night, and you could see like what the wind gusts were picking up, and you
It would
could
like
see some
lift
lift
off.
on the cars. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
like the wings
gosh.
would lift a little bit. You could see the front ends. I was like, holy crap.
It's like I would not want to be out there racing a sprint car of all vehicles in a wind like that. And so they ended
No.
up canceling that night, unfortunately.
Yep.
Out of all the Vegas and well, Phoenix has had some weather over the last couple weeks too that's hindered some of the national racing, whether it's NASCAR, World of Outlaws, and so it's been a weird year as far as weather goes in the places where you don't normally expect that to be an issue.
Yeah, it has been. Like in the middle of the desert, and they had rain showers and snow showers that they were dealing with this week.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
weird. It was warmer up here than it was down in Vegas for a couple of days.
yes. So, which is funny, guys, because so I've been to the NASCAR race in Vegas in 2006. We were there. And during that year, that was probably one of the funniest things I have seen because the weather they had this past week and kind of in Vegas right now. I mean, the race looks like it's beautiful on in the background with Mason right now. But the weather that we had that week was very similar to the weather they had this week, where we went to the World of Outlaws when they were at the when they were at basically the dirt track in Las Vegas. And it was like 40 degrees that day, and the wind was howling, and it was cold. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. So yeah, no, I get it because when you're in the middle of the desert, out in the open with that track and the wind's howling, it is cold. It is bare bone cold. So, and that was even
Yeah.
with being dressed for it.
Yeah, you feel every mile per hour of wind when you're out there. There's nothing to block it. So let's get into a couple of the schedules recently, as we now have all the North Dakota schedules released for dirt track racing. And so Red River Valley Speedway has released their schedule, and it's a full looking schedule. See if I can zoom in on it just a little bit more.
Look,
And I
John.
haven't really taken a close look at the individual nights. I just try to get into my calendar and then
Too
analyze
much.
it later. But they are looking to start the very first week of May. So anything stick out as far as the schedule for the Red River Valley Speedway?
The Howie Show Memorial.
Yep.
Hope
Yeah, I
that
would say
happens for sure this year with the weather.
The two World of Outlaw races is something different.
Oh, yep, they've got both. Yep, that's true too.
They
There's
still
And
got the Bison Battle.
Jason,
yep.
when is it?
Oh,
It must be between June and 20th and July 18th, obviously. But is it another 4-day or 4 weekend affair, or is it going to be something different this time?
For what were you referring to, Becca?
The Red River Valley
Fair.
Fair. Last year they had like a 4 weekend um long fair. Are they doing something similar like that again, which is why they have to take off from June 20th to July 18th, or are they did they decided to switch it up again?
I'm pretty sure they decided to switch it back to its old format with it being just 1 week, but I'm just verifying that right now.
Okay.
what do you
It
mean? It
is
was such a huge
July 4th
success
to the
last year.
13th. By one straight shot.
It's nice that they just take a nice little break in the summer. That gives drivers a chance to travel if they want, or they can, or just do nothing if they want, or gives the volunteers a break as well. 'Cause those are a lot of race days right there, and yeah, just nice little break for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I remember when the World of Outlaws kind of came out with their schedules because I didn't remember seeing like if they had any dates for Red River Valley on their schedule specifically for the sprint cars. So when I saw that, I didn't have that notated in my calendar. So I was like, it's a popular stop, obviously because of Donnie Schatz
Mhm.
being there, and they had a really great show last year. So I was initially surprised that they weren't on the schedule, but it's nice to see that the World of Outlaws are back, and they have quite a few Saturday races on their schedule throughout the year. It looks like they have 3 to 4 nights where they'll be on a different day of the week. And so that'll be good, a nice little variety, probably a different crowd coming in, especially around
Mhm.
this area. Crowd, depending on the day, the crowd is vastly different from activity to activity around this area.
Especially with the World of Outlaws sprints, there are a couple of those, and then the Danny Schatz Memorial Race has been moved up, so that's now the 30th, 31st of May.
Is
So
it?
usually that is usually corresponding
Ah,
to kind of the show in August, so that's been moved up a little bit. Um, the NLRA late models are back again this year. They'll be there on
mhm.
Friday, July 18th. And then King of the Wings is a Saturday, July 19th. So a lot of the sprint car shows are Saturday, if you guys notice that.
Yep.
So A lot of those ones are on the Saturday time frame, um, with their schedule. And they're going to do meet and greets again, which I think is kind of nice for fans. So they got a lot of those on the schedule.
Yeah, yeah, they spread them out throughout the year to kind of give a class kind of like a little spotlight throughout each night. And I believe I feel that the couple of times I was there last year, I think they almost kind of ran them like later on in the program too, kind of like towards the latter part of the night, so kind of give them a little bit more spotlight in that aspect too. So I like that they do that, and they usually do the meet and greets before the races start. So if you're gonna want to meet your favorite driver from a certain class, get there a little earlier so that way you can go down in front and interact with them and get some pictures with them. I think it's a solid looking schedule. They had last year was a very, very wet year, so had a little bit of trouble trying to get that track worked in, especially with this soil around here. If it gets wet, it stays wet. So hopefully we kind of get that worked in a little bit earlier in the year, so that way, because they have some really great racing services throughout the year. Jess, if you think about maybe coming over for that King of the Wings on Saturday, July 19th with the MSTS?
Yeah, yeah, I would like that. It'd be fun to go to Ada on that Thursday again, and then hit the Saturday show because I'll probably have to go back to Dakota Speedway. And yeah, it should be a good time if we could get over there.
Yeah, let me bring up Norman counties real quick since they're basically the sister track to Red River Valley Speedway. And Jessup and I got to go to the King of the Wings last year, which was a fun time. Had a good
Yeah,
experience with the IRA there. They brought a lot of sprint cars there. That's a good group too. Kind of a bummer we don't get to see the IRA necessarily in our immediate neck of the woods, but still should be a very good show with the MSTS because I haven't really seen those sprint cars myself. So here's Norman County's schedule. Of course, Thursday night's their normal night of racing. They do have the World of All late models returning as well. That was a very, very good show. I'd highly recommend if you missed out last year, make plans to get over there because there was a lot of fans there. The racing was excellent. Although it was a race that you didn't want to lead, it seemed like the leader had misfortune
Mhm.
3 or 4 different times. So they did a really good job on the racetrack and prepping that, and it was a really good show. So, and the stock cars being the support class, really good too.
Yeah, that's one that I really want to get to this year. So last year wasn't able to get over for it, but this year I definitely do want to get over for that show at the end of June. So they have the bus races are back. That's a big one for them on the 21st of June. And then their fair is going to be during that week. So June 19th will be their Ada Nationals throwback night. They also have the Kingpin Clash for the stock cars, and that'll also be their fair night. So they'll have a lot of racing that night. They do have multiple WISSOTA modified shows this year. So they're bringing in the mods multiple times. They are also starting with the NLRA late models on the 29th of May. So that's kind of cool to see. And then they do have the Lightning Sprint Nationals. They'll be hosting that again, probably that opening night on August 7th, that Thursday for that weekend. So that'll be a good one for them. And then, yeah, throughout their schedule, they've got various events slash various specials. So it's kind of like they're almost showcasing a class pretty much each night. Since their schedule is definitely not huge by any means, but it is a good full May, June, July, and August racing events. So they've got a lot of good events on their schedule.
I find it like really cool that the first race of the season is NLRA late models. I'm like, talk about
Mhm.
starting off big and bold. That's gonna be
Start out with
fun.
a bang.
well,
Yeah.
they will start with the bank. That's what the fenders are for.
Well, hopefully not too much of a bang. We want the vehicles to last throughout the entirety of the summer and not wipe them out the first couple of nights.
That that class
What do you,
is growing again too, which is really nice. Late models are also getting bigger.
or would you say they're getting rather large?
Large.
Whoa.
So that's all them, Becca.
I know.
The other schedule released was the NOSA schedule. And for me, what sticks out is the variety of tracks that they're going to. The last
Mhm.
few years, it seems like they've just had a handful of tracks that they kind of go to. Obviously, River City Speedway is their home base, but getting out west to start the year, that one I didn't hear about until just recently. But dipping down into South Dakota, over into Minnesota, of course. Anything stick out on the NOSA schedule?
Oh, they're back in
I
Nodak.
Yep, back in Nodak.
That's kind of a fun way to start the season.
That was always used to be known back in like the 70s and 80s as the sprint car track. Like that was a
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
popular sprint car track. And so it's fun to see sprints roll around there. And I wish I remember what year the last year that they had sprint cars. I want to say like 2016 or 2017.
Well, it wasn't that long ago.
If well, to me it seems like a long time.
It's not. It's only been like 4 years, if that.
Yeah, Mason, because they always had it during night two of the Motor Magic. They used to have the
Yeah,
what was the memorial race?
the Tyler Feddick Memorial.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, so they would have those. The MSTS is going to be partnering with them on a couple of shows. So
Yep.
there's quite a few of those, especially the couple swings, right? The South Dakota swing with Brown County and Casino on the 27th and 29th of June. And then the 4-night swing that is between Norman County, River Cities, Red River Valley, and then Buffalo River. That'll be from the 17th through the 20th of July. So that'll be kind of a fun little event too. And then the Jackson Nationals. That's going to be their year-end big special. That'll be happening on the 19th and 20th of September this year.
That's gonna be a lot of sprint cars there at that show with the IRA as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a big event. IRA, NOSA, the MSTS are going to be there, so it's going to be a big event.
The Husick guys, the Knoxville guys. Yeah.
Have you been to Jackson before, Jessup?
I've been within a couple miles of it. Usually we have some sort of event going on at Dakota Speedway when Jackson races. This year it looks like it's gonna be the Stampede.
Stampede.
Stampede weekend. Yeah. So yeah, that's the latest schedule updates. Pretty much all the tracks minus Buffalo River, I believe, is the last one in our region to kind of release their schedule. But looks like the master schedule is getting all laid out, and so hopefully Mr. Dakota Dirt is staying on top of everything. We'll have everything laid out in the master calendar in the next week or so. Who needs some luck in 2025 since we're on the St. Patrick's Day theme? Anyone stick out that could use a little extra luck heading into 2025?
Oh, there was some bad luck for a lot of drivers this past year.
Why are you bringing up sore subjects, Mason?
We're just
Drivers
trying
don't
to
want to hear
encourage
about the
them.
bad
We're an
stuff.
encouraging podcast.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see.
How
Okay,
about
go ahead, Becca.
he was it seems like Adam Goff was caught up in everything last year and not of his own doing most of the time and it was a hard year for him, so he's got a fast hot rod underneath him, so hopefully he can turn it around this year.
Well, and that's the thing too. He was fast, so like he'd win one night, and then the
Yeah.
next he'd be on his
He
lid.
flipped.
Yep. Yeah, another one, somebody that we're pretty good friends with, but Marcus Tomlinson is another
That's what I
one
was
with a
thinking.
bad luck bug
Yeah.
last year. I mean, how many motors did he blow up? Plus, how many races was he running like top 5 and something would break? He had good luck at the end of the year. End of the year, he ran really well, but he definitely was bad luck bug was there for majority of the early to mid part of the season.
Kind of something just because I recently did a highlight video for him, but in general, I hope all drivers kind of stay healthy outside of the racetrack because we had Jory Berg who got injured, I believe, during a work incident, which sidelined him for at least half of the season.
Yep.
Corey Stark was another one, sidelined for a
Yep.
good portion because of a incident outside of the racetrack. And so hopefully have drivers stay healthy outside of the racing. Of course, we want them to be safe during the races as well. But yeah, those injuries they play a big role in trying to make it through the entirety of a season.
How about Kelly Horner? I feel like every other night there was something breaking on that car. I mean he had good luck at Jamestown. He finished pretty well in the point standings over there, but I feel like every other night he was fixing something on that race car because wasn't it in Jamestown he actually did like the Dukes of Hazzards like
Off of people's tires.
Twice. He did it the once off of Edinger's tire going into turns 3 and 4, and then Dukes of Hazard it off the turn. I think that was the same night that
Didn't he
Bradley
run over
Stopover ended up in
somebody's? Didn't he
and then
run
the
over
transmission.
Edingers? Yeah,
And then it
Editor's
was
transmission.
no, it was Getskow's transmission
Yeah, it's
on
good
lap one of the heat
plays.
race
Yeah.
on the doubleheader. Yep.
When we all sat there and watched and thought that was like a motor block dropping out of the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I'm like, is that the entire transmission on the track? I'm like,
It is. It
wow.
just fell.
Whoops.
They, there was that day that we learned ratchet straps would not indeed hold it in.
Noted. Becca kind of brought up another one, Caden Appelt. I feel like he's arguably the fastest hobby stock that you will find out in the western part of North Dakota. And for some reason, especially opening night in Minot, it just doesn't go according to plan for Caden. So I know he's working on building a new hobby stock for this year, and I don't know if he plans to run for the track championship since they do the front half of their schedule for championship points. So I'll be interested to see what his plan is going into the year because the last, I want to say, 2 or 3 season openers have been pretty much disastrous. So making it through the first night, I think would be a good, solid way to start the season for Caden Appel in that number 70 car.
So I ran into this driver at State Darts. Corey Schneider drives an IMCA Sport Compact, and he is hoping to turn his season around because he went through a lot of motors, not just last year, but the last couple of years. And so he's actually picking up a motor from Zach Eubanks, and he's going to put that piece in under the hood, and hopefully he can turn that bad luck into some good luck.
Well, Zach Eubanks had a pretty fast hot rod, so should be some good horsepower underneath the hood.
You know who's another one? I think was it last year? I think it was last year. Was it Jordan Boyce that had like 4 motors that blew last year, or was it the year before? Yeah, one of the years he had some. I think it was last year.
Well, and I'm trying to remember, like, because Jordan usually has a few wins on the year, and even last year he wasn't in victory lane a ton. He got 2 wins, but man, it seemed like he was having a tough time trying to find victory lane last year.
I think it was. I think it was last year that he had so many motor problems, maybe. But one of them, yeah, he's another one that hopefully has a good year with motor stuff. Motors were a big one last year. There's a lot of motor failures last year that happened, especially in the beginning to mid part of the season.
Yeah, it stinks when it's like you're all excited for the racing season, and then you get the first couple weeks, and then all of a sudden you have a motor issue, and it can be a big damper for some teams and drivers. That's kind of like, we got to sit out a little while just to save up some funds to get to the other part of the race schedule that they want. And so, yeah, hopefully the engines hold together, hopefully the cars hold together, get some good racing so that people can race throughout the entirety of the summer in 2025. Any other last drivers before we kind of move on to our white flag segment? If not, we will give a shout out to the real deal B1, Brody Carlsrud, who races an IMCA stock car. He's got a new one in the works for 2025. I know he's very excited about that and be looking to see where he travels throughout the summer. Of course, he makes his home in the Red River Valley, but he is apt to travel throughout the state, especially on the Dakota Classic Modified Tour, which he plans on doing once again this year. You can head over to Brody Carlsrud B1 Racing on Facebook to keep up with all of his racing and his podcast, The Real Deal with B1, to keep track of all the off-season and in-season stuff that he goes through. And so thank you, Brody, for supporting us on the podcast as well. So we've kind of hinted at this the last couple of weeks, but it's the time of year where we got some latest and greatest paint schemes. Any paint schemes from the few that have been released already stick out so far?
Ooh, there's some good ones, Mason. Because remember, we were talking about this the other day on our chat between all of us.
Yes,
There's been
if
some
you're,
really,
I mean, granted, the fans at home or listening don't get in on our chat, but we share a lot of pictures, a lot of paint schemes, and so some days the chat can get really filled up with pictures. And what I should have done is I should have shared some more that I found over the last couple of days. But being into the middle of the weekend, a lot of people kind of do their post on Sunday and Monday. It's like, oh, we can see what they were working on this past weekend.
okay, so I'll pick 2 of them here that I really liked that have been released. Jake Redensky really liked the late model one that he has now wrapped up for 2025. It's still got the red base that he's typically known for, right? but he's got the black nose cone on it with the white trim around the bottom of both on the door as well in the front of it. Looks really sharp. So I really like Jake's. Jake's is really nice this year on his Wasota lay model. So that one is really cool. Another one that I really like so far that I have seen is, did we already go through Calvin Kesselberg on the last one?
I don't know if
We
I shown his
did.
picture, but we maybe
I think
briefly
we
mentioned
did
it.
though. I think we did. That's why I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna do his then. I'll go through and I like the brand new Legend design from Dustin Hagen. His
That
Legend is
is that
very,
is a cool
very
one.
nice looking. I like how it's kind of that simple design down there, but it's got the nice mix of the the neon green, the purple, and then the black around the door. That's really pretty. So yeah, so he's another one that I really like.
It's got the Gravedigger colors or the Cheater Monster
It
Truck
does. It
colors.
kind of has that, doesn't it? Kind of has the Gravedigger feel with a little bit of his own tint in it.
It's a good couple of schemes. Becca or Jessup, got any that stick out to you?
I'd say I have
I,
more.
I would say the Corey Zeitner late model reveal was really good.
I like
With
that one.
the bright yellow with the red and blue and black was pretty sharp. I'm currently looking at Adam Martinson's Midwest Mod. That's pretty sharp. And what was another one? Let's see. There's Zeitner. Uh, I'll leave it at those two for now, and if we need to add a few more at the end, we can.
Ready. Becca, who's stuck out to you?
I didn't know we talked about Calvin Kesselberg's paint scheme this year because I really like it.
I mean,
I do
I,
too.
I haven't shown a picture of it on screen. I don't think so, but I'll put it in there because it is a very cool paint scheme.
It looks
So I
really
didn't know you guys
nice.
discussed it already. But yeah, I like his paint scheme. And then I had Corey Zittner's paint scheme written down. Jessup stole it. So um, other than that, there's not a whole lot of paint schemes to talk about just yet because there hasn't been a whole lot of reveals. But um, yeah, out of the ones that we've all been sharing in our chat, I really liked those so far.
Have you seen the Danny Schlafer reveal from the IRA?
Is that the 25 sprint car?
Yeah, it's red and neon yellow. I
I
like
do have
that.
it in my database.
I like that one.
That one's a good one. I didn't put a name to it because I can't remember which one's which. So Danny's the 25, and then is it Cam Schleifer the 52?
Off the top. Are you sure you're not thinking of Cam Schaefer?
Well, Cam Schaefer is the 54 wingless, but I thought there was a 25 and a 52 when we
Well,
watched them
I
last
think
year.
that's either his dad or his kid.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, I remember there was two of them, but I just don't remember which one was which. So
I'm surprised
Danny's
you
50.
haven't said the Eisenschenk design.
Number one, that is one of them I was looking at. The white, pink, and black, that is super, super cool. I like the pink and it I like pink when it stands out on white in particular. I think those are two really good color combinations. And so yeah, Amelia's late model is definitely one of my favorites. I do like Nate Heinrich's new scheme. He
Mhm.
had a
Same.
white base last year on his Wasona Modified, and this year going with black with his main color. And with all the bright oranges and yellows that are on his car, looks pretty solid. And so those are a couple that probably stick out to me. Any others?
Not really anything right now from our base, I think that I've
Of course, we got to save some for a
noticed.
couple future episodes as we get closer.
Yeah,
And
because we'll have some more getting released here in the next probably couple weeks for sure.
Hold on, we can go to the sprint car page and see what everyone has.
I'm
well,
trying to, so Jessup would be proud of me because I'm trying to be, because I haven't seen a ton of sprint car racing in the last couple years. I'm trying to get more in tune with sprint cars in general this
Yeah,
year.
channel
So
your inner
proud of you,
sprint.
Mason.
well,
So
I
I've
don't
been,
know,
I
but the Dakota Speedway Mall show is in 2 weeks. So
really 2 weeks
be
from
some
now?
Yeah, it's the first week of April, if you can believe it already.
Wow, I didn't realize it
Yeah,
was
it's going
coming
to be
up
here
that
before you know
quick.
it.
I should look while we're talking about mall shows. When is the Home of Economy show up in Grand
Gotta be
Forks?
coming up soon, isn't it?
I
I
think
feel
it's the end of March, I want to say for some reason.
Yeah, so there's a lot of drivers that usually show up for that car show as well. If I'm around, I'd like to actually get up there. Usually I've
It's
been
the 5th and 6th of April, I think.
okay, I should be around for that. Make a
I
quick
think it's
trip
that
up
one. I
north.
should double check here though, just to make sure. But
Ooh.
yeah, the 5th and 6th, April 5th and 6th.
Eh,
So
uh,
2 or 3 weeks now. It's weird. We're halfway through March, so April's not too far away, which means I need to get going on some video projects that are been sitting around for a little while. Any other projects that we're kind of working on as the season gets closer? Any big updates coming up?
no, not really. Just gotta get stuff done for Dakota Speedway. That's about it.
Yeah, I think probably in a couple of weeks, more than likely, I'll probably meet up with Jessup and Becca at some point at the track, to get our stuff set up and get everything ready to go for the tower, get the new board connected and everything else for the season. So make sure everything works out there from our tower perspective. But yeah, that's about where I'm at for planning wise. Otherwise, from there, it's pretty much status quo to get ready for the season.
Yeah,
Hey, did you guys see that Travis Pastrana was in a sprint car?
Sprint, yes, he was.
Smart.
Smart.
well,
Yeah,
I get a sprint car, and that didn't turn out so well.
Think you can do a backflip with it?
I do,
I think Ramp
you
was going to
know,
be like, well, maybe I should put the kibosh on dirt track racing again.
I have a question though. Maybe we should do this, Mason, and it was not on our agenda. Yes, I do know where the agenda is. And
It's an agenda.
so
I still
Mason,
haven't
what
found
about the new
it.
drivers?
Yeah,
New
no.
classes with new drivers?
well, I
What kind
was
of
gonna say that's gonna be I was gonna kind of dedicate a whole episode to that, but we are developing a spreadsheet with new drivers in new classes or rookie drivers who are just kind of green in general to dirt track racing. And so if you know of someone who is going to be transitioning to a different class and you'd like us to kind of mention them and kind of, maybe see like, where they may be traveling or racing at, we'd love to talk about it because I think it's important to showcase the changes that are going on in dirt track racing. And so, yeah, that's going to be a episode here in the next few weeks as we're continually seeing updates. I know racers like to keep things hidden and secret until like the week before they actually go racing. And so, but yeah, I know we've touched on a couple of them. Brenner Grinstead, who he released his paint scheme, he's transitioning into an IMCA stock car from an IMCA hobby stock. We have several new legend drivers, slingshot drivers, especially now that Dakota Speedway is going to be racing them on a weekly basis. So we're going to see quite a few new youngsters getting involved in racing, which I think is very, very important.
Speaking of slingshots, and I know we already discussed about schedules, but Tougher Than Dirt Tour is turning 10 years old this year. They released their schedule, which I don't think anyone's surprised by their schedule. It's the same order as it's always been, but they're adding slingshots to each night of their tour, so
Mm.
uh, that's going to be pretty cool, and that'll definitely help grow that racing division across the state.
Yeah, so be sure to let us know. Message us if you want us to talk about some of the new drivers and new classes, because that'll be a full-blown episode because there's actually quite a few, especially across the state of North Dakota right now, as far as new drivers and new classes. I did attend the Vista City banquet last week. So of course, thoughts and prayers out to the family and friends of Garrett. I think it's Feldhake, one of their announcers. He passed away due to a car accident, and so they announced that their new co-announcer is going to be Scotty Ireland, and he announces at Madison Speedway as well. So he's going to be helping Chad out there at the Fiesta City Speedway, and they also have a new flagman. So John, you'll recognize this name, Scott Paulson. He
Oh
is
yes.
now he's now the new head flagman at Fiesta City Speedways. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I wonder what a guy like him is up to these days. And he was at the banquet and he got announced as a flagman. So I'm like, pretty cool. So few
Now,
new
guys, do you remember
changes
that
there.
name too? Becca and Jessup?
That name sounds familiar.
Say it again.
Scott
Scott
Paulson.
Paulson.
Now, is that a former Wissota Street Stock national champion?
Yes,
Yes.
multi-time national
Aha!
champion.
Look
And I
at me, no
believe
stuff.
he came to the Governor's Cup one year.
He came to the Governor's Cup multiple years.
I remember seeing that car the one time I was young and went to there and didn't grab pictures like a young little fan I was, and I'm like, that is a cool looking car.
Yeah, Mr. Scott Paulson. So
Wasn't it orange like 33 or something like that?
yeah, I'm actually gonna
Yep.
here, let me share my screen really quick. I've got his car up as we speak. He's on the
Yeah.
Western Wanderers page, just to let you guys know.
Oh, John. You got
I
me
I
excited to see the Western Wanderer.
We need to
I
get
thought
like
you
a
guys would I thought you guys would definitely be excited about that.
boy, that would be a fun interview to have the Western Wanderer on this
Make
podcast.
it happen, Mason. Make it happen.
I can't see anything. It's all blown up.
I remember that car.
Yep.
Yep,
What's
there's
happening with
Scott
my
Paulson's car
laptop?
from
What is it?
2004 from the Brown County Speedway.
Go to zoom out. Options.
And then, if we go back even farther here, we
What
might be
happened?
able to find him like in 2006 at a racetrack as well.
I see. This is race fans are getting a in-depth look at what John Breckle does when he's not working.
Or
This is
even
true.
when I'm trying to get my stuff done, and here's John like, "Oh my God, look at this car!" I'm like, "John, we're trying to work here. I want to
Yep.
go."
Or this paint scheme when he was in 2006 era.
Look at that. Yep.
Pretty iconic.
Yes. Very iconic.
Yes, it was. Well, before we wrap up episode 3 of season 4, we'd like to send our thoughts and well wishes out to the Canadian racing family. They've had a couple of losses over the last few weeks. Devon Gonas, who drove the number 47 IMCA stock car, and I believe raced IMCA modified here and there as well. And thoughts and prayers out to the Gonas family. And then also Richie Mann recently just passed away, the number 42 IMCA modified driver. So tough blow to the racing community, especially up in the Esteban area. So thoughts and prayers out to you all, and hopefully we can kind of reflect on the memories that we've had with them and get to the racing season and get to our racing friends and family. And that's hopefully going to help with some of the healing and the wounds from those losses. And so with that, that'll do it for episode 3 of season 4 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and follow our Facebook page. If you are an audio listener, Spotify and Apple Podcasts is where you can find us. Thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, The Real Deal with B1 Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol. We survived the storm, and the race season is just about a month away, so we hope to see you out there packing the track.